Plaintiff Sean Miguel says he was friends with the defendant, and he agreed to loan him some money. However, the defendant has only repaid a portion of the loan, so he's suing. Defendant Jason Simpson admits that he is a severe alcoholic who was first introduced to alcohol as a young child. Jason claims he started drinking heavily by the age of 10, and he was in and out of foster care for years. Jason says he is desperate to go to rehab and get his life on track.
Start with you.
I met Jason about a year ago. I thought he was a pretty good guy. We started hanging out a lot. He ended up getting in trouble, getting a DUI. I guess he's a pretty heavy drinker, so I lent him some money to get bailed out of jail so he can make a job interview that I had set up for him.
How much?
$3,500.
When was he to repay it?
By March 15th of 2017, sir.
Okay, and obviously he hasn't given you anything.
I've gotten $500 back, sir.
Okay, but how are you asking now for $3,500? If the loan was $3,500, he's giving you $500.
Because the promissory note was for $4,000.
You have
the
it?
interest for the credit card, sir.
Okay. When was the last time the two of you discussed it?
I believe March 15th, I texted him and asked him, and I got no response, sir.
So you didn't discuss it. When was the last time you did?
That's the last time I tried to discuss
All
it.
right, but then the last time, say you all had an exchange.
March 7th, he said he'd pay me the full $3,500, and that's the last time he
He didn't say when he would pay it?
No, sir.
Oh.
He said tax returns.
Oh, please. That's why you didn't want to tell me.
Right.
That's why you're keeping that statement to yourself. Go ahead, sir.
I met Sean, about a year ago, and, he was a good guy, and I met him through a mutual friend, and I do have a very bad drinking problem, and
Currently?
currently,
All right, so hopefully you don't mind us getting you some help.
I really need it.
Oh, good. And you'll take it from us?
I'll take anything,
Excellent.
any kind of help.
Excellent. All right. How long you been drinking?
Well, my mom started giving us Kahlua and milk when I was about 3, 4, and
Really?
yeah,
Who told you that?
my sisters. And I remember when I got back out of foster home, because they took us to foster home. My mom took her back, but wouldn't take me back. And so I went to another foster home, and when I came back, I was about 7. And so she'd give us beer and everything to get me to pass out so she could bring whatever guy home from the bar. And I slept in bar parking lots. And by the time I was 10, was drinking pretty good. It was still going on. She threw me out on the street, and I had nowhere to go. I slept in paper boxes and everything else. And I got picked up by the police for, they thought I was a runaway or something like that. So they called my mom. She refused to come get me. She took a $1,000 fine and like 2 years license suspension.
Instead of getting you.
Instead of picking me up. Like, she
accepted
never
that.
wanted me,
So what happened
I
with
went
you?
to there, and I went into a foster home after 9 months. I was able to get into, and I love that family to death. It was the best thing ever. I finally felt like I had people that loved me, and eventually I had to go, and I had to go back to her.
Aged out?
Yeah, and so I went back. I was about 13, and they threw me back to my mom's, and at this point I really don't like her, and I'm still, getting back to drinking. And well, my dad calls out of nowhere from Mississippi that I haven't seen at all or ever met. And
How long ago?
that was back when I was 13. So he sent me a $100 check to go on the Greyhound bus from Oregon to Mississippi, which is 4.5 days by myself. And me and my mom got in a big fight over that because she tried to keep my money.
Right.
So
What type of drugs?
she does meth and drinks a lot.
You went to Mississippi?
I went to Mississippi, and I remember trying to get drunk I got robbed I was trying to get some weed, so I could smoke weed and try and sleep on the way down there. And I got robbed at the LA bus station for a 10 sack of weed. And that was all the money I had left after my ticket. And so I had to go from California to Mississippi, and people would feel bad and buy me food, and, and I'd sneak beers. So I get off the bus in Gulfport, Mississippi, and there's a guy in a Cadillac. It's my dad, Nice to meet you. And he drove truck, so he wasn't really around much, And anyways, my dad had a pistol that he wanted me to go sell down the street when I got off school. So
How old were you then when Dad wanted you to sell his pistol?
16. So I come home, I grab the pistol and I check it and make sure it ain't loaded and whatever. And I go out the house, and my stepmom like hates me, and she grabs the gun out of my hand, puts it in my face, and pulls the trigger.
Nah,
And
you
so
kidding.
yeah, so I swat the gun out of her face and shove her and whatever. She threw me out the door and told me I ruined their life, and my dad kicked me out back to Oregon where I had nowhere to go. And so I kept just drinking and drinking. I mean, it's the only thing that makes me feel normal.
So you haven't lived with either mother or father since 16?
Yes, sir. So I came back, and I got in a fight on my 18th birthday with a buddy of mine at this pool club. Beat the kids up pretty good and went to jail for a felony assault when I was 18. And so I called my dad, or my dad was trying to get a hold of me 2 weeks before that and wanted me to come back because he said he got a new old lady, this and that. You know,
I bet he said that too.
and she smokes weed and everything. And
So I kicked the other one out. I got
Yeah.
a new old lady. You see? He said, come on down here. She even smokes weed. So you'll like her.
On my way, Dad.
it's the truth.
So what did you do?
Well, I just felt like, I've been abandoned anyways. Why should I go back and listen to that? And so 2 weeks later, I tried to call him and he had died. And so I never got to, talk to him again. But they tried to find me for like 2 years, I guess, to, settle out wills and stuff like that and everything. And, I was homeless and living around and just
Right.
drinking and partying and doing whatever. And I met my wife, who I've been with for 17 years. And I've put her through, there's no reason ever she should still be with me.
So how long have you been, you believe, an alcoholic?
Since I was 10.
And he mentioned DUI. You only have one?
I got 4.
Right.
lost my
I
license
assume
for
if
life.
you've been an alcoholic that long.
And the last one I had a .334. I'm lucky I didn't kill somebody.
You never done any prison time for DUI?
The next one is going to be. When I say I drink. I black out. I go about 2/5 and about 4 Mickeys.
2/5?
Yeah,
Over like the week?
a day. I can't even
I've seen
put
it.
a spoon to my
You've
hand.
seen that? It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I can't even put a spoon to my hand in the morning sometimes.
Wow. I don't know if I'm gonna let you out this court, sir.
I'd go right now, honestly, I would. I spent 35 years in this life, and my wife's already took off. I've lost so many friends. They don't want to be around me because I'm drunk and, whatever. And like every treatment place I've gone to go, they got a waiting list or it's too much or anything else. And so I can't stop in time. And it literally,
We're gonna find a place.
I would appreciate that.
All right,
so
tell me
much.
about the loan. He says he loaned you $3,500. What has happened?
Well,
You say you gave him the income tax gain.
the money was taking longer to get than I thought, and he keeps hitting me up about it, and I'm like, look, I'm trying to get it to you. I'm trying to get it to you.
What happened to that income tax check?
Okay, so by the time I got my income tax, his wife over here already had sued me. She tore me up all over Facebook, called me every name up in the book and everything. And
But she sued you after you violated your agreement to pay with your income tax,
right,
obviously.
but I'm agreeing to pay him.
Fine, but you didn't pay him. You were only sued after you breached your agreement to pay with your income
did.
tax.
She did all that.
After you breached your agreement to pay with your income tax.
But I hadn't got it yet to do it before they sued me. So once
Got
they
it.
sued me, I said,
Sir,
well,
is that true? You didn't give him a chance to meet the agreement that you all had?
No, that's incorrect, sir. He was supposed to get his income tax in February.
So you gave him at least 30 days. That's your point.
That's correct, sir.
Your defense had to do with a Facebook post by his wife?
yes, he's very timid in a lot of ways.
You don't know. You're not in their household. Go ahead.
I've hung out with her. But either way, I wasn't able to get it in time.
Why didn't you just go down there?
To where?
To the IRS. They ask you to come down there when it's time for an audit, so you go down there when it's time for your check.
I go to a tax service place, and they're saying that taxes this year was going to be delayed. I tried to relay the message to him, and I was like, I'm really not trying to rip you off.
So what's your defense today?
Well, she put all over me on Facebook, and I have potential employers on there, and probably lost 3 jobs.
Saying what?
Saying that I'm just a drunk piece of crap.
You have that?
No, I deleted it off Facebook because I didn't want
You
everybody
have
to
it?
see it.
Yes, sir.
She called you a drunk, you say, on
Yeah,
Facebook?
and I did this to myself and all this stuff over a post that had nothing to do with
Why
it.
didn't you sue her? Another sleepless night, trying to figure out how to make everyone happy. Can't wait for this car settlement and be done with all this BS. So sick and tired of stressing out. This is him, obviously.
That's correct, sir.
I am not happy either, Jason. This is not anyone's fault other than your own. I have kept my mouth shut this entire time, but frankly, I'm appalled, and you think you're struggling in stress. You have absolutely no clue the stress we endure every single day and night. We are physically, mentally, and financially drained. I don't see any of what you say. Nothing other than her expressing the stress that she's endured dealing with this financial loss of $3,500, which would stress anyone out. $3,500 is your judgment. What happened between the two of you is between the two of you. If you want to sue her at a later time, feel free to do so. In the meantime, you have to pay him, though. He's done nothing to you but be good to you. Have a good day. $3,500 for the plaintiff. And we're going to get our staff to help you. No problem.
I'm sorry things worked out the way they did. I really hope you get help and you can improve your family life, get your wife and kids back in your house.
And I'm really glad this is over with now, and I hope that, maybe there can be a friendship somewhere along the line and get over this. And I'm really sorry that happened.
I hope so too.